Guys, welcome back. We got part two of my interview with Steve Orlando right now.
I don't know. Like,
was that the pitch where you like I write Wonder Woman and I want to fuck?
the boring adult answer is no. It's actually quite the opposite because in the
Mhm.
age of like things being used against you and things like
Oh yeah.
any type of notability actually renders it very hard to be
Yeah.
on any type of romantic or social application. I actually
Hmm.
like there was like at least seven questions someone would have to ask to get to me saying what I actually do.
Right,
Uh,
right.
And if any like and by the way, this is not me like stroking my own fucking dick here. Like I'm not famous, but that job sounds famous, right? Even though it's
Right.
not talking about.
No, not at
So
all. You have to protect yourself if you're involved in any kind of media, and like we talked about this before the show started.
just ask
Like
Xavier and that other dude and Soraya.
yeah,
Like you got to be
exactly. Like you never know like
like
what.
an innocent sex tape, and suddenly the whole world knows.
Yeah, like everybody, but it's like it's also like that weird, like it's that age we live in, where it's like the social media age, where it's like everything gets exposed and everything gets like put under a spotlight, and it's like, listen, you don't want to get made fun of. I think that's at the end of the day, that's probably part of it, and you also don't want to lose your fucking job.
Well, you're giving the note behind the note, which is like if someone leaks your news, you better make sure you have a giant fucking cock.
Right,
Uh,
right. Or at least be like
or
really proud of it.
or a great angle. Like
Yeah,
there's many
yeah.
options.
You don't
But
want a sad boy down there. You want like, if it's coming out, you want it like fucking proud.
you don't want the James Ellsworth. But like
No. Oh boy.
just your dick has no chin, and it's just anyway. So I didn't. Weren't you asking me how we got into wrestling, and now we're on sex apps.
Well,
Anyway.
we were talking about you coming out to your own theme music. Steve Orlando comes out to Black
Oh,
Diamond
so
for
Black
Kiss.
Diamond
Yeah.
would almost definitely be it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I yes, that's probably the answer. Because it's the one that best fits into what I think is an effective
Mm.
wrestling team. I do secretly like this song called Evolution by the band Dream Evil.
Oh.
Dream Evil is awesome. Like they're definitely tongue in cheek, but it's like tongue in cheek, like power metal. And Evolution specifically has like a breakdown where he just screams, "If you don't like it, you don't have to breathe. Hell, Satan, hell me." And I would like to come out to Hell, Satan, hell me, or see now
Uh-huh.
you got or Christian Woman by Typo Negative. The
Oh
only
fuck.
the only issue is that song's like 13 minutes long, which would still not be as long as Cody or Roman's entrance.
Exactly. Well, where would you okay, so you blew my mind right there. Um my two favorite Dream Evil songs. One, the Book of Heavy Metal. I don't know if you were familiar with that. And
I signed a contract with the devil. I literally know the first words.
oh, so good. So good, so good. It wouldn't be my theme music, but like I fucking love that song. And The Chosen Ones, I think,
I,
where
I
it's
have
like
not heard that one. I will tell you.
I think it's from like whatever album came out in 99, and it's just like it's about a bunch of dudes killing a dragon, but it's so over the top, like poetic,
I do think it's evolution for me, or I do like fire, battle, and metal as well.
Oh,
When it
okay.
comes to Doom Evil, I also like a small runner up for the band The Answer, who has a song called Evil Man, which is also pretty good. And would but The Answer is more like they're not like Dream Evil. They're more like
Mm.
tongue in cheek.
Like a Steel Panther type.
Yeah, they opened for AC/DC when I saw
Okay,
them at like that's the kind of thing they do. But they still have like dirty harmonica breakdowns and shit that I get really
I'm cool
into.
with that.
I mean, I
I
could
would.
go on. Like there's definitely I don't know why they're all featuring around Evil, but I do also like Mr. Evil by the band Jackal.
Mm.
Um, Funny story, I was in an 80s cover band in college. I was the lead singer. It was called Fist, which everybody thought I came up with, but I actually stole it from Sebastian Bach when VH1 had that show where they're trying to make a super group.
Oh wow,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he suggested calling it Fist, and everybody was like, "Fuck no!" And I was like, "Well, we're going to call this band Fist." And anyway, we did all the things you would expect people who were born in 1985 and are seniors at a liberal arts school would want to hear, which is to say, we covered Journey, but
Sure.
we also did a lot of Jackal covers. And the thing is, nobody fucking knew that they were a band, so everybody thought that we had originals. And I was really happy with that. We had the dean of students came to our concert, and then we played a cover of one of their most famous songs, "She Loves My Cock."
What was your outfit during these performances?
We went to Whitesboro, New York, and bought a bunch of wigs. So I had like a
Mm.
full-on like slash level amount of hair, which is funny because I had long hair in college. It was fucking abysmal.
Yeah,
But it
same here, dude.
was not long. And I actually did the Gene Simmons shitty upper ponytail into greater, but also shitty
Oh,
ponytail.
uh-huh.
It was like what, but anyway, but otherwise, I mean, the look was very much just like your GNR meets Motley Crue. Like, I mean, it was like concert tees,
Mhm.
ripped bands, bandanas, and that shit. But we all had like, I don't actually remember. Oh yeah, no, so we all had like nicknames and things. But my nickname, because I'm an idiot and this is my type of humor, my nickname was just Kenny Loggins, which is just obviously someone else.
Just
Uh,
another person's name.
Yeah, no, I was Steve Kenny Loggins Orlando. This is
Mm,
very much my brand, especially in high school. Or college rather. My best friend, who was sort of like a wizard, also ran the school, the daily humor magazine at the school. And the thing is
okay.
that you had to produce enough content to fill a double-sided 11 by 17 piece of paper every day.
Wow.
Uh, 5 days, well, at least 6 days a week. I think they were off on Sunday, which can be a lot. So at the end, whenever he didn't have anything, which it happens,
Mm,
he would run movie reviews by a movie reviewer, and
mm,
the publication's movie reviewer was a dolphin, and his name
mm,
was Dolphin Bottlenose Dolphin the Dolphin, which I thought was the funniest shit.
mm.
And the review was just the word "scree" on repeat for both pages of.
That's pretty good.
Again, but the point about this, you might think that I'm rambling when I bring it back around. I thought the joke was so funny that I aped it as an ode to my friend in Justice League Annual, where you find out that even though Lobo really loves dolphins, the best
Mm.
he can come up with to name his favorite dolphin is Dolphin.
That's what a way to bring it back around. Amazing. Amazing, Steve.
Really excited
Next
you knew about Dream Evil, though. You may have never had someone on your show know who Dream Evil is, but I've never had anyone in life know who Dream Evil is.
listen, I'm a peculiar character. Like there's a like I fucking love heavy metal like so much, and like the typo thing really popped me too. Because I would listen, like every wrestling fan or every like fanboy or whatever, you imagine yourself coming out to like certain music at certain times in your life. And one of the songs that I fucking love to death is Typo Negatives We Hate Everyone. You know?
Sure.
And like
I
oh
I just picture I just again the only reason I didn't pick that at first is because it takes too long to get to like Jesus Christ Looks Like Me, which is my favorite part of that
right,
song.
yeah. And you can't come out with just that part, which would be funny, but you can't start it with that.
I had a period of time where I was like looping to the point of exasperation their cover of Cinnamon Girl, actually, which I thought
Mm,
was super, super good too. Funny story about how did I find out Typo about them. I was already kind of aware, but I went to one of my friends from home's bachelor party.
mm.
Was out in like Nedrow, New York, which for like deep upstate New Yorkers, they know that that is a true hole.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
Is that by like Utica?
no, it's outside of Syracuse, but it's just
Okay.
like it is like there's not a lot going on in Nedrow. So
Mm,
it's a bachelor party. We're doing bachelor party things. There are dancers and things like that. And my friend who is the groom to be was getting a lap dance, and the dancer said that she would dance for the duration of whatever song he picked for as long as the song ran, and he picked the 13-minute version of Christian Woman.
oh, what a G. Straight up. Good call.
like giving her some water on the side. I was like, all right, we're halfway done.
Mm. There's a that's funny that you mentioned that. Do you like Dream Theater at all?
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in lying to you. I know the name, but I've not listened to them. So, I mean, so I don't have an opinion either way.
Okay, so there is a Dream Theater. I love Dream Theater. There's a Dream Theater song that I fucking love. It's 18 minutes long, and it's called the Count of Tuscany. And I feel like if I remember that next time I go to some kind of strip club, and they're like, you can play any song you want, it will be the 18-minute long Count of Tuscany.
You should. Yeah, I mean that's like, I mean, I want more bands to do super long songs and also more bands that only do concept albums. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a huge King Diamond fan,
Oh
but
my
I do
god!
respect his metal falsetto and the fact that he only does concept albums.
Listen, Abigail's I think 30th anniversary was last week, maybe, or the week after, a week before. I forgot.
I
Whatever. That guy,
Again, like I
that guy
said,
fucking rocks.
I am passive, but I will say, is it them that has invisible guests on it? Like I think that's my favorite album. I feel like that's the one I've been playing.
I
It
think it
also has
is
like
them.
it has the tea time song where it's just like super hard, but he's just talking about sitting down for tea. The
Yes,
chorus, it is time for tea.
I think because I that always f's me up too. Yes, them has invisible guests. Abigail has Abigail on it. Them has um invisible and welcome home, like grandma, like but very
Welcome Home is
classic.
very good though. Welcome Home is
Yeah.
like, well, that's the song, right? Isn't that what Jay and Silent Bob dance to? Which is definitely where I discovered that, like King Diamond. Like, there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
evidence that it was anywhere else. I could just see fucking Jay Muse.
I'm gonna torture my wife later because you knew about Dream Evil. Again, I would say the same thing that you said to me. First guest to talk about Dream Evil, first possible person to talk about Dream Evil too, like in real life, that I didn't force it upon.
I God, it sucks. I'm trying to think. I recently discovered a couple other things in this genre that I was into, but it's completely slipping my mind right now. Um, I did find, I think Eric Carr, to bring it back there, I think he had a solo album called Rockology that I've been
Mm-hmm.
on vinyl for. But I did get one, I feel like I heard one single off it and it was fucking banging. I mean, in full transparency, I have my metal moods, but it's been mostly indie for me recently. I like two
Yeah.
nights ago, I discovered 3 nights ago now, I guess I discovered a band called Wet Leg, which I think is one of the best names I've ever heard for a band.
Okay.
Um, Wet Leg are these two English ladies, and they're just like they always, like the videos are incredible. The dialogue, or not the dialogue, Jesus, the lyrics are great. The first song I listened to was about her getting a diploma, but she's just referring to it as the Big D throughout the entire song. So she
Ah,
just over and over again saying, "I went to college and got the Big D."
I'll check that
Um,
out.
and then I followed them, and they're a great band, so I'm not like tattling on him, but like I
Mm.
followed them on Instagram, and the only two followers in common, or like the only people I followed that also followed them, were the editor of X-Men, Jordan White, and Wayne Coyne. And I was like, this is good. This is good company to be in,
All
I
right.
suppose.
Yeah. Why not?
Um, I mean, I also fucking love the Flaming Lips. They're not metal at all, but I do think that, I mean, they're an incredible band, especially to see live. Like, even if you're not
Yeah.
super into, like, even if you're not like super into their shit, because that's subjective. Like,
Mm.
actually, this is the way I pitch wrestling. I'm now going to pitch you the Flaming Lips the way that I pitch people who don't like
Please. Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is all true. Like, I never ask anyone who I'm not owning a house with to watch wrestling with me on TV because I think that that is a little more of a challenge.
Yeah.
But I have, without exaggeration, never had someone not enjoy going to one of the indie shows around Boston. I mean never. I don't mean going to
Yeah.
see AEW or WWE where you're like in the ass bleeds and you
Right.
can't see anything. Like if I take someone to like we have Beyond up here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We have Pro Wrestling Super Show. Like, and I mean these can be the widest array of people you would imagine. I took my 70-year-old neighbor one time, and like something about going live, it's just different. I've never had someone not have a good time, no matter what their
Yeah.
predisposed ideas were. And similarly, like the Flaming Lips have a fucking buck wild show. Like I saw them at the New York State Fair in 2006. They had like 20 extras dressed as Santa Claus who were like running around on stage shooting like balloons and things into the crowd. It's just like a giant celebration show. They also
It
do
seems
these
like a
shows.
lot of fun.
They do these shows where you can find looks online too. It was pre-COVID, but it worked great for COVID. They had shows where everybody was in a giant like plastic bubble, and Wayne would just like roll out over the bubbles into the crowd because he was also in a bubble. It's yeah,
Fascinating.
it's a very cool live show. I also just aspire to be a weird guy like him. So I mean,
They
clearly,
they're a lot of Flaming Lips stuff has shown up lately on social media, like with their Letterman appearances.
I mean,
I
I didn't.
think, you know.
I'll be quite honest with you. I didn't even know that they had appeared on Letterman. But which is embarrassing because I was definitely a Letterman, not a Jay Leno guy.
Yeah,
Uh, no shade
same
if you
here.
like. I just
I don't.
I recently had
I
a I
never did.
recently had well I recently had a Norm Macdonald kick, and I had no idea that he was so
Oh,
close to Letterman.
the bet. Oh yeah, yeah. Like they were like he wrote on the show and they were like really buddy buddy. Like same here. Like Norm is also awesome. Maybe he's a hard. I feel like he's a hard sell for people just because like that specific sense of humor. You know,
Well, it
we're
depends
going
what
we're going everywhere today. By the way, we're going comics, wrestling, heavy metal, Dream Evil, fucking
I
Letterman.
feel like well, this is a good thing. Like it depends what version of Norm you get, because like I mean I
Mm,
have a dark sense of humor, so there's no version that I don't
yeah,
like. But like
yeah.
at the same time, like I do think he was kind of genius, and not necessarily for the things people
Yeah.
expect. Like you, if you're a fan, you probably already know, but like his Bob Saget Comedy Central roast performance
Oh my
uh,
god. Yeah.
is one of the best things I've ever seen. And it like, I mean, for folks who have not seen it, like the whole
Mm,
point is a roast, and he goes up and tells like not even dad jokes. He tells like
yeah.
grand jokes. But because it's a roast, and everybody's like, "Oh, Bob Saget's dick once fell off into an alien hooker and flew into the sun,"
Mm.
like, and then he comes up there and he's like, "He has the eye of an eagle. This man is for the birds," you know.
It's
Um,
genius. It's great.
no, it's amazing. Once everybody realizes what's going on,
Mm,
like for the first few, the crowd is like, "What is this shit?" And then they realize that it's on purpose, and everybody's
mm.
fucking. And the key for me is that even the other comedians can barely contain themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
They
remember
know what
him.
he's doing.
I remember him burying Gilbert Gottfried specifically. He's like, Gilbert once went into a bathroom, which confused me because the sign outside said, "Gentlemen, pay no heed, pass on by." End of joke. Like, yeah, no, he and I also just rewatched Dirty Work, and it's a challenging movie, but I did fucking love it. I don't know what else to say.
Well, Rickles is also in Dirty Work, so that kind of makes it
Nichols
for
is in
me.
it,
Like,
and like I was just talking to a friend about this. I do feel like I don't necessarily. I do think there's things that have not aged amazingly in a lot of '90s
yeah,
comedy, but I do enjoy like like Pops in Dirty Work. I don't. I mean, like the low hanging fruit kind of goes whatever way for me, but like
yeah.
it's the blunt but subtle things. Like Pops is reading a porn mag in that movie, and
Mm.
if you look, the porn mag he's reading is called "Impotent Old Men and Whores."
Total Norm joke.
Yes, and I was just
Yeah.
yeah, because it's so obvious that you can't help but laugh on it. Like
Mm.
oh man. Anyway, and I do like, yeah. I mean, this was in a string with Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
of which I will say that the only one that I think really is pretty timeless is Happy Gilmore. There's actually
Yeah. I agree with you.
almost
Yeah.
nothing that has aged poorly in it. Weirdly, like it's devoid of the gay jokes that most
Mm.
90s movies have.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing that shocked me is that he doesn't fucking kill Ben Stiller. I hadn't seen it in so long. Ben Stiller plays this guy that's abusing his grandmother, and
Right.
Happy is a guy that has anger issues. And I was like, sure
Mm.
that like Stiller was going to slip up and Sandler was just going to fucking murder him, but like nothing happens.
I think it was probably like the age of that cameo where it's like, yo, Stiller's gonna do it, like whatever, and they just didn't even think about like any kind of character arc. You know, I think most people also just remember that from like it's like that Misa Misa lady's out there, you know, like that specific scene. Are you a fan of Patrice O'Neill at all?
I've liked stuff, but
Mhm.
I'm not super knowledgeable. I will admit, like I probably saw him on
Mhm.
things like roasts and like Comedy Central stand up,
Yeah.
but I've never like, I'm not as deep as I should be.
Jump in. If you're into the Norm stuff, I would strongly suggest like do the Patrice stuff because like it's almost on the same wavelength of it's just like very realistic, dry sarcasm. you
I
know.
mean, probably. I mean, I was gonna say I am a Jeselnik guy, so like I feel like if I can handle that, which is a lot for some people.
Yeah,
Uh,
he disappeared for a little bit, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I loved his last special
Yeah.
about, but of course it was about not enough people drop babies. So
Yeah. Well, he like apparently like from what I hear, like apparently he's like the world's biggest sweetheart.
well, that's kind of the interesting thing. Like people who
Yeah.
think the character is your person. Like I don't know him personally, but if
Yeah.
you look like I mean, his comedy is one thing, but then if you
Mm.
actually and that's the talk, but if you look at the walk, like he almost always would have female openers. He would almost
Yeah.
always hide like the things that really matter when it comes to optics were there. But if you're a person
Right.
that just only see his joke that is about like again like setting babies on fire,
Hmm.
uh, and then maybe you have the other ideas, right?
Tough
Uh,
stuff.
I love his joke. He tells in the most recent one, there's an Alzheimer's joke, right? And he's like, "Oh,
Mm.
Alzheimer's, devastating. I bought my new house." And I like his deliberate delivery as
Mm.
well. You know, I bought my new house and I thought I was going to have to move finally because every day my neighbor, my 70-year-old neighbor with Alzheimer's, would come over looking for his wife. And every day I would have to tell my 70-year-old neighbor with Alzheimer's that his wife was dead. And I almost thought I was going to have to move, but I decided it was worth it every day just to see the smile on his face.
That's a good joke. That's a good. It's a good joke. That's a nice little bit there.
And I'm like, but that's his key is that like when you think you know where it's
Mm.
going, this thing is like the joke is long and you think you're ahead of it, but he's
Yeah.
always, I don't know, mad respect for that because that takes a lot of forethought, something that I do not have.
Yeah. It does. It works. It works. It works for him. Are you going to be at New York Comic Con this year or no?
Yeah. Don't ask me where and when, but I will be there because it's a little
You
far
said
away.
the same thing to me last year. You were like, "I'll be floating around."
Well, I'll probably see you at the place. I mean, I'll probably see you at the place I saw you last year.
Well, that was a weird situation. Because we went specifically for the gallery.
And folks, by the way, like we're not talking about like a fucking like donkey show club. We're talking just about the
No,
bar that Marvel
no,
people go to. So
it
like,
was a bar on it was a bar it was a bar in Midtown. I'm not gonna give it away. It was a bar in Midtown. If it's the same place, that's cool. But that was an interesting night because like my buddy's a comedian and I only see him like maybe like 3 times a year. And he was like, "Hey, I'm doing a show on like 53rd and 8th. Um, I know you're going to be in the city for con. Like, do you want to meet up?" And I was like, "I'm actually going to be at this bar and it's on whatever." So my wife and I hung out with him for a little bit. And then we were like, "Oh, let's go upstairs and see the gallery, Jerry Duggan's photo gallery." And, I got like a nice little invite from his manager or whatever it was, or like his press guy.
Mhm.
And then we do the tour of the gallery and we were like, all right, that's cool. Say hi to Jerry Duggan. Cool. What's up? I'm so and so. I'm trying to get you on my show. Blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden we're in the corner. My wife and I are in the corner, and I was like, oh shit. Like I interviewed that guy. I interviewed that guy. I interviewed that guy. Oh shit, there's Steve Orlando. And then made a beeline for you. And and like, it's weird because like I don't get nervous, but I get nervous because I love comics so much, So I'm
I
like,
think I told you last time that you are one of the few podcasts that I was nervous because to me you're the fucking Matman guy. So
well,
like, and that's true.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Like, so I was like, oh fuck, I'm nervous. I don't get nervous. I'm like, fuck, I'm nervous. Like these guys write a lot of these are like holding up the pillars of creativity that I loved since I was a child. And my wife was just like, fucking suck it up. Just fucking talk to people. You're good at talking to people. I was like, all right, cool. And then it ended up being like a pretty fucking cool time.
Well, that is the reality though. Like I mean, when we meet people, it's like a ladder, man. Like I've been
Mm,
when I was at DC, I would be at premieres for TV or movie shit, and like
mm,
I would have peers that would have that reaction. I had the same reaction as your wife to them. I was like, my friend, like we all work for Warner Brothers. We are here
mm.
because we work for the same company. So just don't be a fucking maniac and go over and talk to them.
That's the
You know,
thing. Yeah. Like you can't be like the tongue hanging out like weirdo because then people will pick up on that. I'm not like that usually, but I'm saying like there's, you have to kind of like, mm, hi, so and so. But inside you're kind of like, ah,
I am in a creative sense. Um, I could not be more impressed and in a way in awe of the trick that Seth Rollins has played in that he has created a character for which literally nothing could be out of character. Uh
Yes.
and
Genius.
and he does not have to change a damn thing if he's working a face or a heel. He's just Seth Rollins, and he can just
Hmm.
and he can't and nothing he could never look at a character. He can wear whatever the fuck he
Mhm.
wants. My boyfriend will come and see Seth's entrance just to see what bullshit he is wearing and
Yeah.
then walk away. Like, and it's impressive because it's a hard thing to do, but like the current version, he could ride that train for the rest of his career and never change because, like, if he's working
Mhm.
a face, he's a heel. If he's working a heel, he's a face. Like, because he's just a weirdo. And it's impressive, I must admit. Like,
I
I
I
I didn't
do
like him
think,
for a
yeah.
long time, but I love Weird Seth now.
I'm a big fan of Weird Seth. I do think he's I agree with you 100%, but I do think also like he just can't escape the look of like a Muppet. Like he looks like he should be in Dr. Teeth's band. Like he has that big, like weird floppy presence about him where like he can do anything, as opposed to like a Roman Reigns or a Brock Lesnar where they're like, that's it, like I feel like maybe
Well,
you
I was surprised that Farmer Brock worked. I generally agree, but I was surprised that Farmer Brock worked.
Farmer Rock
Um,
worked in a weird way. Like I don't know, like to me, like again, like not to throw shade or anything, but I'm like, is his new character a racist? For some reason, like I just read it like that
I
immediately.
mean, that being said, like Farmer Brock got us maybe the sexiest moment I've ever seen in wrestling, which is when he threw that mic at SummerSlam and Roman caught it without moving and winked at him.
Oh yeah, yeah, holy shit.
I've never been so wet. I mean, and like in front of I can't believe that worked out. I can't imagine how many times they tried and like that's like all or nothing, man.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, Roman's like he's kind of the fucking best, and it's weird to say that. Like you don't want to like the tribalism thing or like, oh, why do you like him? He's corny kind of thing. But like Roman is like, there's a reason that dude's on top, and like there's a reason why they saw something in him 10 years ago where they were like, put this guy in the Shield. It could
Now
have been
that they
Chris
let him
Hero.
be, now that they let him be himself, I would
Hmm.
totally agree. I think that a lot of the shit that people hold against him, I have to only assume based on the way the sausage happens where I eat
Hmm.
it, sell it, whatever you want. It's not like that's the shit he wanted to do, right? Like to me, he seems so much more comfortable being what he is now,
Yeah.
talking like himself, you know, like just showing up in Jordans and a t-shirt, not a weird flak vest that no human would wear.
Right. Just being charming. I think that's the thing. I think it's like when you get to that certain level of when creative gives you a little bit and you're like, hey, I'm a charming guy, let me just be charming. And you can see it with like a Shawn Michaels or like even like a Steve Austin. Like these are big names that you're throwing out there, but like we trust you enough to let your charm shine. I think that's what the Roman thing is, and he's a very, very charming guy, like his interviews are always great, like outside of WWE, he's very tongue in cheek, but not like over the top, not like The Rock would be, you know what I mean? Like where it's
Well,
like
it's
very
funny because I
overt.
mean, I'm not going to sit here and say The Rock was not one of the greatest, but I would, that to me is an example of someone whose angle or gimmick rather has not really aged well. Like now when he comes
Mhm.
back, he's doing like the strudel and all that shit. It's actually kind of awkward for me. I can't lie.
Right. It doesn't,
Oh,
it was from the time, because it was like reality television, Jerry Springer, Richard Bay. I feel like that Richard Bay reference, like not a lot of people are gonna get, but who cares? Very much like, like I'm gonna talk about my cock.
I mean,
Like
to be clear, I do still sometimes watch the promo that literally ended Billy Gunn's WWE career just for kicks. Which is to say, "Are you there, God? It's me, Billy." Um, it's a problem. I won King of the Ring, but there's just one problem. I still absolutely suck.
yeah.
Um, but at the same time, like who's laughing now? I don't think there's someone who is 60 years old that's having a better career than Billy.
Oh my God.
I mean, to be fair, I think that he's had a fair amount of chicken breast and broccoli these days.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's wild to me. It's wild to me to specifically think about the dude. I mean, in the last month specifically, we have the dude who was in maybe one of the most inadvertently or purposefully homophobic angles ever when
Mhm.
he was fucking Billy and Chuck. And now he's scissoring with a dude who got an entire crowd to pop for him saying he was gay, a thing that I never thought would happen, you
Yeah,
know?
and that's I think it's like because he gets it right. Like Billy Gunn gets it. Like he seems like the type of guy that's just like, yeah, whatever, man. Like everything's fucking cool all the time, whatever you want. Even in interviews, like he just like now I guess that he's like sober. It just seems like he's got like a different perspective, which is really cool. And yeah, going from Chuck and Billy, the Ass Man, a lot of that stuff to the
Well,
scissoring with
hope
the
of both.
Anthony
Ass
Bones.
Man is one of the greatest fucking entrance songs
Oh,
ever.
absolutely.
And, like that's my fucking entrance actually, but it's more subversive when I come out to it for obvious reasons.
I would fucking love it I would love to see you on a panel and all of a sudden you hear like bomb bomb and then
I'm an
just
ass man.
oh my god, dude, like please can you do if you're gonna do a panel at New York Comic Con, can you please come out to Ass Man? And I feel like nobody would fucking get it. So a few people would get it. But
Yeah, it'd be you and Kingston in the back just dying. Uh, and the lyrics are such hot garbage, by the way. Like
oh
like
yeah.
that. Like, the riff is amazing. Like let's just get
Mhm.
the that and Cactus Jack, my two favorite licks, I think. That
Oh yeah. Jim Johnson, man.
but like, yeah, I mean, I would say though that fucking Bowens moment. I don't think that. I mean, it was historic, but I don't think that AEW and wrestling fans, at least younger ones, really understand how fucking wild that is. Because like, there
Yeah.
was a question. I mean, again, for just like the reverse, there was no guarantee that Bowens' character Bowens was gay.
Right.
Uh, and I would understand why they left that open because it
Yeah.
hasn't traditionally been, at least in the mainstream, the most accepting community. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fucking wild. Like when the minute that angle started with Harley, I was just like, this can't be where it's going to go because it
Hmm.
can't. It never has been. And then they did it, man. And like, obviously, to hear everyone applaud and literally do the "he's gay" chant, I'm like, yeah,
Great.
I never thought that would happen. It's. I mean, not to be morbid, but you watch like Dark Side of the Ring with fucking Canyon, and you wish that you had like a fucking time machine so that people
Dude,
could know
yeah.
it's possible.
Yeah. But I also think it's like there's which I'm there's a death of machismo, which I think needs to happen. You know what I mean? Where like, yeah, you don't know, like the Canyon thing specifically always makes me think of that. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
Well, there's been
listen,
steps, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
technically, Kenny and Coda were not a couple, but they kind of were in the gold. I mean, like the way that the Golden
right,
Lovers, I mean, they were called the Golden Lovers, and their fucking workout videos were the gayest shit ever.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that I think that people have asked him about his sexuality before, and he's at least demurred about it a little bit. So I feel like there were like
yeah,
steps on the road.
yeah.
Um, Now, I can't imagine having Kenny having gay sex, to be quite clear, because like his little bug eyes, I just can't imagine what would happen. Uh, but like, he's like topping Coda, and he just says you can't escape. I got to admit, like, I fucking love Kenny, but I've always something about when he came to America. I've loved a lot of his stuff, but it is a little different. I even can't put my finger on it.
Same here, man. We talk about that on Matman all the time, where it's like New Japan Kenny comes out very rarely. So like that Forbidden Door match with Will Ospreay, that was New Japan Kenny.
I mean, my dream
Uh,
booking is that like I mean, because Coda is his boyfriend.
yeah.
Like I just like well, he's already come back as a cleaner now, but when they were doing Golden Lovers, like my
Mhm.
fan that someone would fucking there would be a run-in backstage, someone fucking murders Coda, and he's got to go back to being the cleaner, because
Yeah.
you hurt his boy, and then he
Yeah.
becomes Kenny again. But I mean, we have gotten the cleaner music from time to time. I will admit, I do think it's better than his video game music. Well, they're both video game music, but
Yeah. Yeah.
his like beep boop 16-bit music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't mind. I'm completely enamored with the guy. Like as far as like wrestling goes, like it's one of those things where I'm like, this is what's great about pro wrestling, and it's almost like I'll be that cringy fan who's like, fucking Kenny Omega, like last week on Dynamite with the whole neck thing, and then him saying like, hey, we still got a fifth man, and it's Kota Ibushi. Like I practically did a backflip out my fucking window.
I mean, who else was it going to be? But yes, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's evil and everybody, and evil's great, by the way, but like everybody was bold.
Everybody's great, but yeah, you're right. Like it's like
I mean,
it's evil.
the best shade would be if it was not Kota Ibushi, but just Ibushi, the ass guy.
It's boot.
No, Ibushi's the mask guy. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of who's the comedy guy that
Toriano.
My dream at Forbidden Door, and I tell him this, like I want Danhausen and Toru Yano in like the ultimate comedy match, and like it would be amazing. I'm sorry, like
Throw Colt Cabana in there, and I'd be fucking 100% in on that.
Speaking of murder gimmicks, I loved the one time we got Murder Danhausen, and he never came back.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
he's still banged up, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
He's crushing it in the merch game as usual, but
forget it.
But like, yeah, I mean, I can just imagine it's anyone but Coda. The fans are just dying. I mean, Toru Yano is probably the funniest possible thing it could be. There's maybe something else. I mean, other than it's not even someone from Japan. Like, because Kenny said he went to Japan and they just don't follow up on it. It's just like the Brooklyn Brawler, that
right. Yeah. Oh my God. It's like Sergeant Slaughter. Then it shows up. There's somebody really weird.
His music wasn't bad either. If they did he had one music that was cool, I thought. But no, honestly, if you want to talk about surprises for me though, since we're just running around, I talk about this with my friends all the time. Like, and I've even tweeted about it. Like, this is a positive. Like, there's no shade intended here. When they hired Jeff Jarrett, I was like, why?
Yeah.
But I will admit, I think that dude has been like low key one of their greatest assets. He's in like he brought now. I mean, when we were younger, everybody wrestled like that. Now nobody wrestles like that.
Right.
And his matches are super fun, like sometimes compelling in a way. Like his match with Orange Cassidy, I was texting with my friend and I was like, I don't even know why I'm so into this, but I'm incredibly into it.
Some of the best punches in the business too. Like very interesting. Like now, like him doing the same thing now is so great. And he's another like immortal, even though he kind of looks like Mark Twain a little bit. Like him and Billy Gunn are just like these guys that won't stop.
Well, I think a lot of it, with a joking aside, even guys like Sting, although I want him to just retire and not die.
Yeah.
I think the dudes that went to TNA instead of WWE benefited from the softer schedule, to be honest. Like like you can look, Jeff Jarrett is 55. 55 can look like a lot of different things. It doesn't often look like Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah, you could look like RG Bunker.
It's wild because he's doing this stuff but he's just like, in a way, like without sounding like, the old days, like I do think there's a narrative to his work that I think is relatively unique and a lot of people could learn from. I do think there are a lot of guys that just like want to go in there and get their shit in and do their spots. And I'm not a guy that's, it's a spot fest, whatever. If it's fun, it's fun. But I do think that his matches are so engaging because he gets narrative. There is a story to his things, and he's not just trying to make sure he does the coolest shit. And in a way, I honestly think that helps get the people he works with over more than if you're just a dude who has like a crazy like 630 senton or something.
I agree with that 100%. I think also like I don't know if it was a missed opportunity, but I do think he should have held on to that international title. I feel like he should have beat Orange Cassidy for like a week or 2 weeks.
So far, he's the only guy that I would have been okay with it. I mean, I'll be okay with whatever if it works out, but like I would agree with you. I mean, I like that OC has had it because I will say too, in a completely different way than Jeff Jarrett. When OC was signed, I think a lot of people thought that he was just like a joke for again for obvious reasons because he's like a character-driven wrestler. But the international title run has kind of shown that like, nah, man, like that dude can work any kind of match with like any. I mean, he can work with Jeff Jarrett and he can work with fucking Buddy Matthews. And I can't think of two people who are like more different when it comes to the shit they do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He's an interesting guy too. Cause like a lot of folks that I talk to on the regular are like really, really invested in the Orange Cassidy thing, you know? And I'm like, God, it's really fucking cool that
He
this guy
no,
was like, good.
well, I was gonna say he's the appointment viewing when Dynamite's on,
Mm,
my boyfriend will usually just be fucking around on his Switch. But the
mm,
one thing he watches every week or at every pay-per-view, and he's like not into it. I mean, like he gets it for what it is, but
yeah.
like it's the OC stuff. He will always come in and watch OC. And it's funny because when he signed, all my friends were like, well, that's just never gonna work on TV. And it's been like the
Mm,
opposite, the thing
right.
that everyday people like.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's got an interesting connection with the fans, and like his interviews are always great. Like all like the kayfabe stuff is fascinating. What are you guys playing on Switch, by the way, if I may ask?
Well, not we, him, but Tears of the Kingdom right now.
Same here.
And I just remember specifically, like, yes, his interviews are always great, but I just love his, when he got the title and started carrying around in that fucking like knapsack, the same one that you and I probably took to middle school.
Fucking Jansport bag, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like, I don't even remember who won a challenge for him, but like, you may even remember the promo and remember who it was, but whoever
Mm,
the other guy was walks in, interrupts his interview with Renee, and he's just
yeah.
like, hey, what's in there? And he like slowly opens up. He's just like, this.
Mhm.
His whole answer.
It's fantastic. He's
And I'm
Paul
just
Rudd
like,
from Wet Hot American Summer.
yeah.
Mm,
Oh God. It's I mean, I met him when he did Beyond. Well, it's Beyond Progress crossover show.
mm,
And what I liked is that he was, I mean, like a lot of guys, he was still in character even when he was just doing merch sales. So like I
mm.
bought one of his shirts. And again, to that end, my neighbor who had never been to wrestling before, the only merch she bought was the Orange Cassidy shirt with the picture of him wearing his shirt on it.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And I went up to pay him. I was like, do you take Venmo? And he was like, dude, look at me.
That's pretty fucking funny.
I was like, okay, I'll go get
Mm.
cash.
Where's the ATM? Where's the ATM guy? That's fucking funny.
That was a wild. I got to tell one other story about that show
Sure.
because
Yeah.
it comes around to the Bowens thing. Um, so it was crossover, but and by the way, another thing that I didn't get for a long time. Same friend told me that within Mustache Mountain, Trent was the best pro wrestler, not the best worker, but the best pro
Mm,
wrestler. And I was like, whatever, like I get it. I like him enough, but what are you talking
yeah.
about? And so we're doing this match, or they're doing the show, and the match is Pete Dunne and Trent versus people who I can't remember, unfortunately, but Progress Talent.
Mm,
And Dunne starts, and this was in Melrose, Massachusetts. Dunne starts, and they're doing like very like mat wrestling technical stuff,
mm.
like ZSJ type stuff.
Okay.
And clearly the crowd is getting a little bored with it. And some chode from the audience yells, just make out already, right? And everybody, I mean, it's fucking Massachusetts, so everybody in the crowd boos that dude for being a piece of
Yeah.
shit. But, this is all real, Dunn and the other dude decide that they're just going to troll this motherfucker, and they just start kissing.
Wow.
Right. And then like, so like, and now the crowd's popping huge because not only did they boo this guy, but he's living
Mm,
in hell right now.
right.
So then, because the crowd pops, fucking Trent and the other guy come in, they start making out as well.
I
They
gotta look
four-way,
that up. That sounds hysterical.
they four-way kiss with the referee in the
Mm,
middle. And then
wow.
fucking Trent blows a kiss into his hand and he starts hoganing to the fucking crowd to see who's going to
Wow.
win. And then just puts it in his pants and everybody fucking pops huge. And it was like,
Wow.
one of my favorite things because, and that is when I agreed with my friend about Trent because, yeah, he's not
Mm.
the best. He fucking knows exactly what to do to fucking pop people and, and get them engaged.
It's such vaudeville, man. It's wild. It's wild. It's funny. Like I love talking to people who love pro wrestling because it's like at the end of the day, you're entertained, you know?
I mean, yeah, and like, and that, by the way, obviously, that's like only on the Indies. You're not going to have
Yeah.
that on a WWE show. You're not going to see Butch in his little like Scrappy Doo mode making out with some guy.
I feel like I feel like AEW would be like, you can get away with that, maybe, like I feel like somebody in the crowd
If
could
they would do
incite
like a
that.
House Rules, sure.
Yeah. You know,
Um,
depending on the match. Like I think if somebody in the crowd just yelled at, like they'd go with it, like consummate entertainers, man. Like it's great.
well, do you remember when Mox on his first promo back when he was from out of rehab, some guy ran his mouth to him, and I think it was the first time anyone had dropped the F-bomb on like live TV.
Yeah.
because he was cutting some promo and some piece of shit from the crowd yelled, "Go have another drink" or something. And like on live TV, which was like, "Hey buddy, why don't
Mm.
you go fuck yourself?" And I was just
Yeah,
like, oh, amazing. Never been more over for me in my life, you know?
absolutely. I think that dude gets carte blanche, like I think he has like a certain status where he can do whatever the fuck he wants and it's okay because like at the end of the day, he seems like a really sweet guy, you
I mean,
know.
listen, we said Mox, so he's probably bleeding right now.
Oh yeah, the thinnest forehead on the planet, thinnest forehead skin on the planet. You can blow a kiss in his direction and he'll start bleeding.
You want to talk about character stuff? It's funny. You're talking about Roman. Like, I never like they're the same person. That's why it's crazy. I would not ever be excited to see Dean Ambrose versus Roman again. However, I would be excited to see Moxley versus Roman.
I think it's
And
gonna happen.
how you think he's not going back with everything
I
he said?
think it's gonna happen, dude. I feel like Roman's a lifer. I feel like Seth is a lifer, and I think from what I always hear, the way WWE gets you is they'll be like, "Hey, think about your kids."
But are
They
they
have a
let him be? But are they going to let him be Mox? Because that's the thing.
listen, like they have a beautiful daughter at home. Give it a few more years. Like I think he signed a 5-year extension.
Oh, but to be clear, I'm not even
You know,
saying he will go back, I guess. But I mean, it has to be Mox. I don't want him to go
yeah.
back and be fucking lunatic lariat and shit again.
No, I think like in the landscape of whatever this is, you're gonna get that specialty attraction of him coming back. I really do feel like you're gonna get that Shield reunion at some point. Maybe it's 5 or 6 years from now. It might be a nostalgia thing. It might be like an NWO reunion, but
I
at the
just,
same time, you'd fucking pop. Like who wouldn't want to see like grizzled late 40s Shield back together and one more match
yeah,
between
like,
them?
but that's the thing. Like, I want it, but it needs to be like, Dean Ambrose is a weirdo who was dressed like Bane. Like, it needs to be like
Yeah, it was
Mox, like
weird.
biting the flesh from Roman's neck,
Yeah,
because he doesn't have the technical work or whatever. So he's just literally like trying to cut his heart out. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I need.
I
And then
I
meanwhile, Seth is just like, when who knows what he'll be at that point. Like,
He'll just look
he'll just be
like a
Patrick
straight up
Bateman.
Muppet. He'll be in a Masked Singer outfit at that point.
But anyway, no, I did. You were probably right about him having carte blanche, but I did just, I don't know. That's a weird thing because that was real life. But at the same time, I never had more respect for him, and he was never more over with me than he was actually defending his
Yeah,
real life shit than even though when he was playing Moxley,
yeah,
like.
yeah, 100%. We went to real quick story, and I'll wrap it up. We went to All In a couple of years ago, or All Out, whatever. I always get confused with them in Chicago a couple of years ago, and Mox came out where we were sitting by that staircase. And like I lost it like a child. And I yelled like nonsense at him. Like I think I was like, my wife got a video and it was very much me being like, I think you're a cool guy. And I was like, why did I say that? Just like him walking down the stairs. Hysterical.
I mean, I think the last time I had a real screaming, genuine reaction to wrestling, I know that the loudest reaction I ever had to sports in general was it was a shoot thing. It was not wrestling.
Mhm.
It was when Nunez beat Cyborg.
Oh wow.
Because I just had never seen anything like that. I was already a Nunez fan, but like Cyborg was like, I mean, she was like the Hulk, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I've never seen. To me, that's like one of those moments. If you like mixed martial arts, like it's just a moment. Like if you're really into a sport, like clearly, I mean, Cyborg had not been knocked out in
Mhm.
14 fucking years.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
and it was so clear
Mhm.
when you see, and it's only like a 47-second fight, but you see Amanda Tagger, and it's clear that she has not dealt with anyone who like is
Mhm.
not afraid of her in a long fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go to the mat for the Lioness, man. Like she talked about maybe coming into wrestling after she
Mhm.
retires, and I think she should do it. I think she'd
I
be
agree.
incredible.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the transition is there, for like a lot of MMA people to come over. Especially I do think the landscape is more open for the women because they bring so much more to the table.
Well, the funny thing is that all the MMA people that WWE hires, she has clowned all of them.
Yeah.
Like even Rhonda, she fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, she hurt her feelings, like.
wild.
I mean,
And
I
like,
mean, I love Shayna Baszler, but she,
mm,
quite honest, it's not like her record was crazy in MMA, right? So
yeah,
like,
I think
um,
it was like there. It was there enough for WWE to take notice, you know, and they missed that opportunity with the horsewomen thing.
well, I mean, well, now you got me ranting. You keep trying to wrap it up. You know what? You know what also grinds my gears, Peter Griffin style. Like, how do you hire the guy? How do you hire the guy that in real life literally beat Brock Lesnar and then job him out because what? He doesn't look like a guy who could beat Brock Lesnar. Like the whole world
Yeah.
knows that he fucking did. Like he literally
Mm.
really did.
Perception, man. It's that perception where it's like, no. This is what a champion looks like. You know, it's not. That's how nuts pro wrestling is.
That's the fallacy, though. Like, but like you don't have to be a body guy to be tough. It's often that dude that looks like Cain Velasquez who like
Exactly.
looks like he enjoys food, but also will just murder you. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean,
Genetics.
I'm a coward. I say that like I've been in a lot of fights. I've lost every fight that I've ever been in. But but I just yeah, I was so excited when he came by, and I was actually kind of excited because I did like his triple A work as well when he
Yeah.
was doing the mask shit, and then he didn't do any of that shit. He just got fucking housed. Um, but anyway, no, for wrestling, it was probably Big E winning the Money in the Bank. I was
Oh yeah.
I felt, and this is just the skill that Big E has. I do not know him, you
Mhm.
know. There's something about his character and his personality. Like you feel like he's your best friend.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why, but like Big E winning the belt, I felt like my best friend won the fucking belt, right?
Yeah. I think it's because like they're so effing likable. You know, he's such a likable big guy. He almost looks like a Pokemon. I
Well,
always
I
had
could
that
watch.
there.
No, but I love their attitude and their casual.
Mm,
I wish that I could have the confidence they do in public. Like joking aside, like I few. It's not even a promo, but like the three Goldbergs, like the big meaty men slapping meat thing
mm,
from their podcast, like I find that so endearing, and also like at the same time, like they are burying Goldberg, like they
yeah.
clearly think this is a joke, and people in the comics biz are probably not secure enough to handle shit like that, to be quite honest. Like,
Yeah.
because you can tell that both like Biggie has a reverence for Goldberg, but also thinks that he's kind of a clown.
Right. Yeah. Well, what's the comic book thing you mentioned? Like, you don't think you don't think creators could get away with that kind of promo? Are
No,
creators?
yeah,
Do I not know that creators are cutting promos on each other behind the scenes?
no, like I wish we
Mm,
could, but we can't. Like that's the thing, like because people would not know like that it was a rib, and I'm not like
yeah.
it's not that I'm talking about someone specifically. So just to like
Right.
clear the air,
Yeah.
like I just mean like if people were like, who do I? Well, the easy mark would be like, oh, what's your dream? What's your dream creative team? Like
Mm,
me and like pencils, inks, letters, Rob Liefeld, right? Like that's the
yeah.
but now that I said that, like for all I know, I'm gonna get a fucking C&D in the mail tomorrow. Like so uh
Or a DM from Rob being like, "Hey, brother."
that's kind of what it's like. And it doesn't even
Mm,
mean that Rob isn't, if I said that joke, it wouldn't even mean that he wasn't like foundational or historic. It would just mean that
right.
like we all know the style is at least a little goofy, you
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah.
But even that is like too much. I don't know. Yes, but I
Yeah.
will say Rob Liefeld, probably the Goldberg of comics.
Wow.
Except except
Do you
he
want
did
me to?
not retire. He didn't retire anyone with a super kick, but still.
You never know. He may
Are
he may have,
you
he may have tried.
are you familiar with one of my favorite joke Twitter accounts? Does Bret Hart like Bill Goldberg?
Oh no! Please
Uh,
elaborate.
Rich literally just posts the word no every day.
Wow, that's fucking funny. It's not like 4 out of 10. It's just no.
One moment because I can drop it into the chat before
Oh please,
before
yeah.
uh but like I do like I will say that like I could watch that like the three Goldbergs. Um and it's just the whole thing is they're like, you want your 5-star classics? Tokyo Dome? None of
Right.
that
Yeah.
shit, man.
No. Listen,
Three
but that's
Goldbergs.
that's the beauty of pro wrestling, where it's like it's whatever you like that does it for you, and that's it. Like I get so many DMs every day, and I'm not complaining about it, but it's very much like, did you watch this? Do you know about this? What did you think about this? And I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, I don't got enough time. Like, I hate saying that because like I do a bunch of podcasts and shit, but it's true. I got enough time to watch everything. You know, like I got a job. Like, this is not my job. This is fucking fun for me. You know, like I get to talk to you for 2 hours and it's fucking dope.
Well, I will say that you will enjoy it as Bret Hart, like Bill Goldberg. As a bonus, it has a retweet. It's almost as good. I mean, I like it because it's not as dark as Wrestle Cringe, but Wrestle Cringe is
Mhm.
pretty good. Just when people are showing their asses. But I scrolled down a little bit, and it just has Garcia, Barry, and Brian Pillman for saying that his wrestling crushes Mandy Rose and not his wife and 3 kids.
That's pretty good. Yeah, throw that in there. Like, send me, like, email it to me
Oh,
or something.
it's in the chat. It's in the chat.
I don't, like this new version of this makes me feel like old man yelling at clouds. Like this fucking new version of Zoom is like a surprise because everything's like kind of like there's like a bunch of buttons on the side. I don't know if you have that on your screen at all.
No, but I mean, you're the admin or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm the admin. There's a ton of shit that I've never seen before where it's like it's connecting to like a bunch of different. I don't know. Like I'm complaining for no fucking reason. Sorry about that.
Well, you will
Steve,
enjoy this. I will send it to you.
please, yeah,
As
email it to me. Like just email it to me directly or DM me or whatever floats your boat.
it's
Steve,
coming. It's coming right now.
thank you.
I
Uh,
promise.
this is the longest episode I've ever done of the show. Steve, you're fucking great. I
And it could have
appreciate
gone
you.
all night, man, because
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for
my
doing
pleasure.
this. What do you want to leave everybody with tonight?
Oh, good karma. No. Well, look, I mean, like we started talking about comics, so we should probably bring it around. Like clearly, if you like my bullshit opinions about wrestling and or metal, and even if you don't, if you hate them as well, buy Scarlet Witch, and if you like them, also buy Scarlet Witch. But listen, you might think that I'm a beclowned fool running his mouth, but as Rich said earlier in the interview, listen, we got Sarah Kelly on art, we got Russell Dowderman on covers. It's the best looking book that Marvel publishes and also one of the most critically acclaimed of the year. So love me or steamroll me, but this is a book you should be reading. And it's the best, it's by a wide margin the best thing I've done, at least since leaving DC. Where I will say I did Martian Manhunter, also one of my favorite things I've ever done. So if you don't know about Wanda Maximoff or you've just seen the TV show, this is something that can welcome anybody in. Each issue is brand new. There's new threats. We're trying to pack as much into every issue as we possibly can. So if you were looking for the most bang for your buck, some of the best art of the industry, Scarlet Witch, Marvel Comics, me, that's the thing you should be buying.
Fucking A, man. Listen, buy those books. Do
Ask
exactly
my
what Steve
dream
said.
creative team, what's my dream subscription? 3 Scarlet Witches, bitch.
3 Scarlet Witches. Keep buying all
Three
the Scarlet Witches.
Goldbergs. Three
3
Goldbergs all reading
Goldbergs.
Scarlet Witch. They're all reading Scarlet Witch.
Also, side note, I did love your Martian Manhunter. It was awesome. Thanks, dude.
It is my pleasure.
What can I say? What a great guest. Steve is one of my favorite people that I've met doing this. I can't wait to catch up with him at New York Comic Con. And guys, this week, Astonishing Iceman #1 comes out from Marvel, written by Steve Orlando. So please go check it out. Coming out this Wednesday. Our next episode is going to feature Sunfire TV. If you don't know who she is, please go look her up. You will not be disappointed. I will see you soon, my babies. Later.